possibility that this shooter could have easily gotten into a vehicle and driven out of here before anybody knew what was happening. That appears to be exactly what happened here, is that you've got the shooter that left the hospital here, headed onto M59, went east that direction, almost directly home, and would have been there in a matter of minutes. I mean, Hall Road at 7 o'clock in the morning, 7:30-ish, is still pretty wide open. So you could have gotten there maybe 10 minutes. It wouldn't have taken long at all. But the bottom line, Rhonda, yes, that suspect now in custody. We're hoping, well, we know now that the 25-year-old victim inside is going to be okay in stable condition. So I suppose, again, a good ending, all things considered. But I think now we really should start talking about the mental and emotional toll on the rest of the people, especially inside that hospital, because I can't imagine, they were locked down for almost an hour and a half, if not longer, thinking that there was an active shooter, fearing that somebody could open a door if they were hiding in a closet or a room and shoot them. So there's going to be a lot of work to do from here on out in terms of just that mental recovery. This is a situation that, unfortunately, the Oakland County Sheriff knows all too well. Mike Bouchard is keenly aware, going through Oxford and assisting with Michigan State Police and others. So there's a lot of things to happen. But again, the bottom line, the shooter now in custody at a home in Macomb Township after that shooting happening here in Troy.
And we should point out, no one was killed. We do have one victim that's receiving treatment, but we're told that it was not life-threatening. That victim is alive, but certainly the anxiety and fear that everyone faced, whether you were inside of that hospital or, quite frankly, you weren't, but you knew somebody inside of the hospital, certainly it is scary. But when you have a situation like that, you have to have an abundance of caution, which was the statement that we received from the hospital, saying out of an abundance of caution, you have to make sure.
Absolutely. And as law enforcement, you don't know. And so you have to exercise that due diligence. And again, this is the best possible outcome. This is the outcome that, as a law enforcement officer, we want to happen. And so this coordinated effort between the hospital staff, between the law enforcement, between the community, this is why we train for this. This is why we do it.
And we want to keep you updated from all angles of this as we cover this for you. Again, the shooter is now in custody, apprehended there in Macomb Township at a home in a neighborhood on Heidenreich. Kim DeGiulio is there right now. Kim, are you able to update us on what's happening there at the scene you are and what happened?
Yeah, guys, well, all of this information coming to us right now. But again, we just came to Macomb Township, where we were told that this was potentially the house of that suspect. And again, Troy Police confirming that that suspect is in custody. I'm going to step aside here to give you a better picture of what's going on. You see this big SWAT vehicle. They just pulled up, so that does give you the indication that something they are maybe taking that suspect into custody. Again, there is a strong police presence here. Macomb County Sheriff is here as well. So this is exactly kind of what we've been covering all day. But now we are in Macomb Township, which I know a lot of this has been taking place in Oakland County. So we're at the Widmer Woods. These look like condos. And right now you can just see that there is a strong police presence that keeps going into one of the houses. I think it's 2 or 3 houses back. But right now, still really unclear exactly what's happening, but we do know that we can kind of breathe a sigh of relief because of that confirmation that Troy Police have confirmed that the suspect is now in custody. So again, we're going to be here live this morning in Macomb Township. Again, this is at Heidenreich and Hall Road. That is near the intersection of where we're at right now. But yes, this is the location that what we have likely confirmed that the suspect is in custody, guys.
All right, Kim, thank you for that update. We did get another update from the Corewell Health Troy, and we do want to show you that now. They're giving the all clear. They're going to be going in through the process of going back to normal operations. So all clear at Corewell Troy. Suspect is in custody. A formal press release will be available soon. Now, if you have any loved ones there, if you're concerned, want to get in contact, want to visit, I would hold off on doing that. Certainly, there's a process that has to be in place to get things back to normal operations. So please allow Corewell Health to be able to do that. But again, we just want to update. There was a shooting that happened at the Corewell Health location in Troy in a parking structure between two employees, one employee shooting another. The 25-year-old victim, a male who works at the hospital, treated at the hospital and is in stable condition. The shooter is now in Troy police custody, apprehended at his home, or at a home, I should say, in Macomb Township, there in that Heidenreich Hall Road area where a very large police presence is still, but certainly anybody that lives in that area, the all clear has at least been given that that suspect is now in custody. We will continue to gather more information throughout the morning, keep you updated both on clickondetroit.com, Click on Detroit, our mobile app as well. We'll continue to keep this story updated throughout the morning, and of course, join you back here on Local 4 News at noon, or break in if there's any new information we need to pass along.
Woo. Woo.
Good job, guys.
Woo.
Welcome back into Live Now from Fox as we continue to follow a breaking news story out of Troy, Michigan. Here is a post on X from the Troy Police Department regarding that shooting at a hospital earlier today. They say this: all clear at Corewell Troy. Suspect is in custody. A formal press release will be available soon. Corewell Troy is in the process of returning back to normal operations. Let's head back out to our partners at Fox 2 in Detroit. They continue with their coverage.
District Superintendent Dr. Richard Macheski, who's on the phone with us now. Doctor, are you with us?
I am, yes.
Thanks so much for your time. I know this is an incredibly difficult morning. Just walk us through, from your perspective, what Troy schools were faced with this morning and how that process laid out.
Yeah, absolutely. These are challenging times, of course, no matter where you're at. But in this particular case, it's all about timing. And specifically, we were informed that there was an incident at Troy Corewell around 7:30-ish, which is right at drop-off time for our seniors, our high school students. And then shortly thereafter, we have drop-off for our middle school. So we decided to go into to a minimum security mode. which means that students are in the building, but there's no activity that takes place outside the building. So doors are all locked and so forth. So we got our high schoolers in. We were able to get our middle schoolers in, and then the question was really our elementary students. So per the directive with the Troy PD, we decided to continue on with elementary drop-off with additional staff, providing opportunity to get students into our buildings and so forth.
It's a little bit of a threading the needle situation, I can imagine, as well, because you want to keep the kids safe. You want to keep the students safe, especially, but not causing them a huge concern as well, you know, on the mental side of things. Having elementary kids, school-age kids myself, I can imagine that process to keep things as normal as possible for them was a big factor as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, the safety of our students and staff and our community is of utmost importance to the Troy School District. And so with that in mind, we just decided to business as usual, get students in the building as quickly as possible, get into our instructional day, and communicate with staff what was happening.
And this, of course, is not the kind of on-the-job training you want when it's a real-life situation, but you have to use these opportunities to learn and to improve your own systems. Is there anything that you identified that perhaps in the future could be done differently, or anything that you could say, this absolutely works for us, if heaven forbid we are in another situation like this?
Yeah, you know, that's a great question, and we do an after-action review after every incident occurs. We'll do the same in this case, but I will tell you, in the Troy School District, we have an exceptional relationship with the Troy Police Department. We have a security director who's in constant contact with our school resource officers, and we have honed lines of communication across our district. So I feel real confident that when we get information, we're able to share it quickly, appropriately. We're able to communicate with our buildings, get them into the appropriate security mode. So I think all in all, and you never want to see these situations occur, I think we were able to respond quickly, utilizing good information, keeping folks up to date, and so forth. But of course, we'll do an after-action report and see if there's any other way in which we can improve our responses in situations like this.
Dr. Macheski, as superintendent, you're responsible for all schools in the district, but Wass Elementary School is just 2.1 miles down Dequindre from the hospital. Was there anything special you had to do with that particular school?
No, we managed all of our schools the same way. We had additional staff that were directed to go to buildings, in particular those buildings a little bit closer to Troy Corewell. So I know I, for instance, was over at Wass for a period of the morning, just in an effort to provide additional support if it were necessary. But I can tell you, our building administrators, our district administration are just exceptional at responding to situations like this, making sure that we are always maintaining the security of our student, staff, and our community as our number one priority.
Dr. Macheski, what is that communication piece like with the parents during a time like this? Because, you know, all morning long, there's an active shooter that is not in custody yet, and I'm sure that raises a huge concern for parents who have their kids at school. What is that communication like for you to relay any messages to your parents?
Yeah, that's a really important question, and that is something that we constantly talk about with our communications director. We, of course, want to communicate as early and as often as possible, but it's really also important to make sure that we're communicating accurate information, which is why it's important for us to make sure that we're in constant communication with Troy PD, and we're then communicating accurately. But communications this morning, as soon as we had knowledge of what was occurring, we sent that out. We asked building principals to send out information at the elementary level, just reassuring the community that students were going to be safe. But I completely understand and respect the fact that our parents were at heightened risk, as were staff.
After school activities, sports, things like that, are they continuing as normal now going forward?
Yes, absolutely. We just received about 15 or so minutes ago, the all clear from Troy PD. So we have lifted our minimum security mode. So the rest of the day will be business as usual.
Dr. Richard Macheski, thank you so much for your time this morning. We know it's an extremely busy time for you. Great job at your schools as well. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you as well for your time.
Absolutely. And again, just to recap for you, a shooting happened in the parking garage at Corewell Health Beaumont Troy Hospital this morning. Call came in at about 7:08 this morning. Hospital was on lockdown. One victim shot twice in the arm, was able to identify the suspect, and now that suspect is in custody. There is an all clear at the hospital. Schools got the all clear as well, so business is resuming. Corewell Health Troy Beaumont campus is in the process of resuming all regular activities. So that is great news this morning.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Good job to those police out there, and we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Thank you there to our partners at Fox 2 in Detroit. I do believe that they are going to continue their coverage on this breaking news story. Now, while they're in a commercial break, I do want to reiterate some of the information that we do have at this time and bring back some of the footage from earlier today. As you can see here, it was a very heavy police presence over there at the hospital in Troy, Michigan. And you saw there just all of the law enforcement agents that turned out to this scene. Now, Fox 2 in Detroit, we have been relying on them heavily for their coverage. We do actually right now have a live look as that scene continues. So let me bring this up here for a moment while we wait for our partners to get back into their coverage. But as they were mentioning, a suspect is in custody after a manhunt following a shooting at Corewell Health Beaumont Hospital in Troy. They were taken into custody in Macomb County, officials confirming that this Thursday morning. Troy police previously said that one person had been shot in the targeted incident in the parking deck next to the facility. Now, local police from Oakland and Macomb counties responded to reports of that active shooter at Corewell Health Beaumont Hospital at 7:08 this morning. That's when Troy police received a call from the hospital security about that shooting that happened at the parking garage. Local police learned a handgun had been fired 5 times and a victim had been struck twice in the arm. His car was also hit. Lieutenant Ben Hancock said in a press conference that we did air for you live when that was happening, that the shooting was, quote, a targeted incident between 2 employees at the hospital. The victim was a 25-year-old man from Troy. He is currently in stable condition. Troy police confirmed the suspect was arrested just about 2 hours later. We brought it to you as breaking news there. Now, several police agencies, including federal law enforcement, also assisted with agents from the Department of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms in Detroit at the scene as well. A Corewell spokesperson said the Troy Hospital was on lockdown. Now that lockdown has since been lifted. You can see here that the reporter on the ground is getting ready to possibly do another live hit with our partners at Fox 2. So let's get back out to some more of this footage that we had from earlier today as we wait for Fox 2 to resume in their continuing coverage. Now, still some questions remain. For example, police have not said what led up to the shooting. They say that they are still investigating that motive. Now, police were able to identify the shooter based on what the victim told them, but stopped short of releasing any more details regarding that suspect, who again is in custody. Police had nearby schools and daycare centers go into a soft lockdown, and police were also close to clearing out the hospital at the time of the first update from local law enforcement. Now, this again on your screen is some footage from earlier today as we saw multiple law enforcement agents there in the area. Let's head back to our partners at Fox 2 in Detroit for their continuing coverage.
At Corewell Health Beaumont Troy Hospitals, Fox 2's Ingrid Kelly standing by for us now. Ingrid, what can you tell us?
Hello, good morning. I am here at Flynn Park, which has been a staging area, and leaving the area right now is Sheriff Michael Bouchard, who's kind enough just to kind of sum up the situation for us. Sheriff, what can you tell us?
Well, this was our CPR command post for all the operations in the area. The suspect has been taken into custody, so we're releasing most of the assets from the area. We're doing some final things with our partners. Troy's going to take everything from this point forward. They'll be talking to the media at some point in the day about the totality of what happened.
What can you tell us about how you were able to put this suspect into custody?
We're probably not going to get in too great a detail at this point about that. The most important thing was that he was located quickly. Obviously, a lot of things need to happen at the hospital. We had to get that clear so that they could get back to doing emergency surgery and taking care of their patients and give some reassurance to the community. Troy and everybody did a great job partnering up and making sure that happened.
Exactly. And this scene is massive. I mean, I'm looking at the response. What did it take in terms of, I saw Shelby Township, Troy, obviously Oakland County deputies, just to bring some calmness to this?
Yeah, there were tons and tons of agencies, federal, state, local, county, air assets. You know, we created an air boss, all sorts of things just to make sure everything was coordinated. And, you know, Oakland County and all of our partners work great, and Troy's a great police department. And, you know, they obviously are in the lead on that. And we're going to work through this process anytime we have a situation like this.
Yeah. Sheriff, thank you so much for your time. Great work. Thank you so much. And again, back out here live, that was Sheriff Michael Bouchard, but you can see just how massive this scene is. If you take a look behind me, you can see the Oakland County Sheriff Mobile Command Center. When I actually pulled up into this scene, there were law enforcement officials with long guns. I mean, the massiveness and the severity of this situation, they are like Army type vehicles here responding to the scene. But again, as you heard from the sheriff, the good news is that it's under control. The person is in custody, but again, there's so many questions, kind of what led to this, what was in the mindset of this person, and they're all trying to figure this out. Again, they're trying to restore order to this area. You see Bloomfield Hills responding. It looks like workers are now trying to come in here now as they try to maintain some type of order. We've got a hospital staff now arriving and trying to actually get started with their day. Of course, we're going to be following this story. We're out here. We're going to bring you the very latest. Back to you guys in the studio.
And Ingrid, as Sheriff Bouchard said, you know, just very quick police work, and everything needed to happen right to be able to apprehend the suspect without incident.
That is correct. And, you know, it's unfortunate, but Oakland County, they've had some experience with these type of situations. I mean, you know, from a school shooting to what happened in the splash park and now this. But unfortunately, it's those type of incidents that sort of lead to this experience with handling these type of situations. In Oakland County, they did the job. I mean, they got everything under control. And now, as you can see, this command post area is clearing out, and they're trying to restore order.
All right, great job out there, Ingrid Kelly, for us live at the staging area. We're going to go back outside of Troy Beaumont Hospital where Robin Murdoch is standing by. Robin?
Hey, good morning, Ryan. We've changed locations a little bit. We're still right in front of Corewell Health, Beaumont's Troy Hospital location, but we're just down, we were down the road a little bit before, obviously because Dequindre was blocked off. Now that the roadway is open and the suspect is in custody, we've moved locations. We're able to get a little bit closer to the hospital. And I will step out of the way because you can see cars are now coming on and off of the property. And there's only a couple of emergency crews left out here now. As you know, just, you know, a half hour ago, there were dozens and dozens of emergency vehicles that were out here. It is tremendously fewer out here right now because this situation has been resolved, and obviously want to get everybody here at Corewell Health back to work. They've got important surgeries that need to happen, emergency surgeries. They have patients that need to be cared for. And that, of course, is why they wanted to resolve the situation as quickly as possible. And again, it does appear that that has happened within roughly about 3 hours. The first call came in right around 7:08 this morning. By 9:43 this morning, they had that suspect in custody. And the victim in this case, crucial in this situation, that victim was able to tell investigators exactly who shot him twice in the arm. That information led investigators to the suspect. And as you know, he was taken into custody without incident. Back to you guys.
Robin, any advice to people that have those surgeries or appointments? Maybe you had it during the period of time where they said don't come to the hospital, but now things are all clear and the business going back to normal. Are they delayed? Are they canceled? Are you hearing anything about how people should find out information if they have an appointment?
Yeah, that is a great question, Derek. The best thing you can do, obviously, when all of this was going on, hospital workers were telling people to stay away from the hospital, stay far away from here to avoid the area. Now, the best thing you can do is just call ahead, double check to make sure your appointment is still standing if it's been rescheduled. Obviously, that's a 3-hour gap there in which a lot of things that should have happened at the hospital were not able to happen because the search for the suspect was underway. So the best thing you can do probably is to give a call to the hospital and just check the status of your appointment or surgery, whatever you needed to take care of here today.
Well, that's great advice. You've done great work out there, Robin, as always. Thank you so much. And now we will head over to Josh Landon. Josh was live during the press conference, and there when officers gave the information and also gave the all clear that suspect had been apprehended. Now, Josh, it seems that officers have switched from investigative mode, where perhaps they were a little more giving with information and needed the media's help, to now the all clear and perhaps wrapping up this investigation.
Hey, Mario. Yes, and that's exactly right. And of course, we prefer the latter, where we're hearing that there is becoming we're seeing some kind of conclusion, some kind of resolution to this very sad and emotional morning at Troy Corewell Beaumont Hospital. We're at the Police and Fire Training Center on John R. and Long Lake Road, about 3 miles away from the hospital scene where Robin Murdoch and Ingrid Kelly have been all morning long. But nevertheless, we were here on live when we heard at the very moment that the suspect is in custody, and that is the one piece of good news here. We're hearing more of an all clear over at the hospital, as you guys have been talking about within the past few moments. And I mean, tragically enough, these are the times we live in where you're hearing about one active shooter situation, one after the other. And if there is any silver lining, law enforcement here locally is more equipped, more familiar, sad, but nevertheless familiar with these types of situations, and which led to that quick police work. This happened around 7:08 this morning in that parking structure at the hospital. And now we're talking about the suspect is in custody. Now, one piece of new information I can share, there's going to be an updated press conference sometime today. At first, they were saying 11:30 this morning, but now they're saying 1 p.m. at the Detroit Police Department, 1 p.m. updated press conference at the Detroit Police Department. But again, keeping people safe in these types of situations. Take a listen.
Sure. This is very emotional, I'm sure, for all those employees that were at the hospital and immediately involved in this, who, received the lockdown notice immediately. Like I said, I just want to send a message to them that we're there, we're on scene, we're doing our best to keep you safe, and I'm confident that they are safe inside that hospital.
And once again, that is Lieutenant Ben Hancock with the Detroit Police Department, just letting the community know they are here to help. They are here to give people peace of mind that this situation is finding some sort of resolution. The suspect is in custody. We're talking about a massive hospital, hundreds of patients, hundreds of employees. We're still trying to find out what is the day going to look like, as I believe Derek asked Robin that question of what the day is going to look like as far as appointments and things of that nature, who you should call, what you should find out, etc. But again, emotional, fluid, but nevertheless, the suspect is in custody. Quick police work. We're hearing a press conference at the Troy Police Department around 1 p.m. later on today. Guys, back over to you.
Yeah, Josh, Troy Police posting on X just 1 minute ago, press conference regarding today's incident at 1 p.m. today. And again, still so many questions, though, as well, Josh. I mean, we still don't know anything about what led up to the shooting, if this was at the end of a shift, at the beginning of a shift, how long the employees were employed at the hospital, in what department they were employed. So still plenty of questions to be answered.
Absolutely. There are a lot of unknowns, Ryan, at this time. We were here asking those very questions about X, Y, and Z, everything you just said. And those are some of the questions we hope to learn more about, more answers later on today at that 1 p.m. press conference. That could change because, again, an officer came in and said it was scheduled for 11 a.m. or 11:30 a.m., excuse me. Now it's been pushed back to 1 p.m. Fluid, emotional. Police are trying to find out more information as this investigation continues. But yes, a lot of unknowns regarding the two employees. How long have they been employed at the hospital? What led up to this situation, which caused the suspect to fire 5 gunshots with that handgun, shooting the suspect, not the suspect, excuse me, the victim twice in the arm. It's good to hear that victim is in stable condition and will recover physically. But again, a lot of unknowns as to what led up to this tragic moment.
Josh, another question perhaps you'll be able to ask officers later on at this press conference. I do have people on social media who are reaching out to me saying that this particular parking garage has been an issue where people have felt unsafe, and now there are some calls for more cameras in that area, as well as metal detectors when you enter the hospital in certain areas.
Hey, that's news to me, Mario. We didn't have any word of that. None of us here at the press conference didn't have any word of that about this particular parking structure being an issue in the past, but it's definitely a question to ask. I'm sure people who work at the hospital, again, a massive hospital, they have alluded to that point, so it's a question to ask later on today.
Yes.
Again, I can't get away from the words fluid and emotional because it seems like every moment we're talking about this, something is changing. But it's good to know the suspect is in custody.
All right, Josh, great stuff out there. Thanks so much. Sit tight. We'll get back to you momentarily, but we're going to take a break, and we'll see you on the other side.
Our partners there at Fox 2 in Detroit, thank you to them for their continuing coverage on that breaking news story, as we know that a suspect is in custody following a shooting at a hospital in Troy, Michigan. This post on X, courtesy again of Fox 2. We are also going to step away for a brief commercial break. We'll continue with more of this breaking news story next. Welcome back into Live Now from Fox, where for the better part of the morning, we have been following a breaking news story out of Troy, Michigan, where a shooting happened at a hospital. Now, the suspect is in custody. We know that the one victim who was shot twice in the arm is in stable condition. They are recovering. This is a post there on X from our partners at Fox 2 in Detroit discussing the Corewell Health shooting, saying that the suspect, again, in custody after the shooting at a parking garage. The victim is hospitalized, recovering at this time. Now, not too many new developments at this moment, but we did hear that we are expecting another press conference and an update from police out of Troy, Michigan, happening at 1 p.m. today Eastern time. So in just a few hours, where hopefully we can learn a little bit more, including what led up to this entire situation, and some more information on the suspect, which police were reluctant to release. So we're going to be moving away from this news story. But again, as soon as that update comes in from police in Troy, we will bring it to you and keep you updated for all of these developments. At the same time, let's head to this other live image that we're just getting into our newsroom here. Take a look at this. This is out of Los Angeles in California. So a fire at a vacant building apparently there. You can see that firefighters are on the roof of this building. Limited information, of course, at this time, but really striking images. We know that Los Angeles is one of those areas that has been heavily impacted this year alone at the start of the year back in January due to devastating and deadly wildfires that broke through across Los Angeles County. But here is a live look at a fire that apparently is happening at a vacant two-story office building. And we see here that the responding officers, they said that they first saw smoke on the first and second floors. And then they also discovered smoke in an attached restaurant that is located on the first story of this building. And they are requesting additional resources. It does seem that they are getting this fire under control, as you see firefighters all over the roof of this building trying to put out the remainder of those flames. So we'll keep monitoring this live image. Just wanted to bring it to you on our programming. At the same time, we are also watching out for several other live events scheduled to happen later on today. Taking a look here at a podium that has been set up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where we are expecting for Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem to hold a press conference and give the public an update on efforts to combat drug trafficking. This is set to get started about 10:30 in the morning Eastern time, so less than 10 minutes from now, we will head to it as soon as it gets underway. But while we wait for that, let's go over to New York City, where we are seeing New York City Mayor Eric Adams. He is holding a news conference there with several advocates down at a subway station here. And take a look at this. And this is in regards to the fact that the Trump administration has threatened to cut MTA funding amid the congestion pricing deadline. Let's watch.
So I'll turn things over back to the mayor to take on-topic questions.
Thank you. Now, I think both Williams, your story is a powerful story, shows the coordination and why you need that mental health worker there, because sometimes the presence of a uniform officer can escalate, and it just shows that perfect combination of path. And I think the numbers should not be lost on what Commissioner Park stated. 97% of New Yorkers who need housing are housed, but that 3% was historically ignored. And that 3% was not only an endangerment, many oftentimes to themselves, but to others. And going after that 3% is challenging. You have to build trust. It's repeated communications. It's finding the right combination to talk someone off the streets and find the care that they deserve. That is why PATH and SCOUT are the programs that were needed to get in the subway station and get on the streets to address the chronic homelessness problem that this city was facing when we came into office. So why don't we answer a few questions? Juliet, how are you?
All right.
Good.
Where are you as far as involuntary commitment? You know, what else, what's your next step for that, and what else do you need to do?
It's in the hands of Albany now. You know, we have strongly believed that when you encounter someone that is in danger to themselves and to others, if you're out in the streets at 13-degree weather, you don't have any shoes on, your clothing are soiled, you're talking to yourselves. They're real indicators that someone needs help and they may not know they need help. And so giving us the authority and codify in law that we're able to remove them and give them the care they deserve is something we're fighting for, and we're hoping Albany understands that and give us the empower to do it.
What's the reception that you're getting when you go up there and talk to them about it?
Our team, Deputy Mayor Tiffany Raspberry and Diane Savino, former state senator, they are there, as we always do during this time of the year. Everyone knows this stance. They're there constantly educating our lawmakers. And people identified, when I say people, those lawmakers identified that this is